What do you want? I've been asking myself that question a lot lately. I know what I want for this channel, for instance. I want to put up one video a week. But in other areas, I don't have an answer. And in some ways, that's okay. It's okay not to know what you want. Whether you're young and don't have the experiences to know, or older and realize that what you want or what you wanted is no longer what you want. But it's good to have those goals to aim towards. So for this channel, I know with the one video a week that gives me something to strive towards. But other things, sometimes you have to look at it from a negative perspective. What do you not want? That's not quite as useful, in my opinion. It's better to have something to strive towards than to have something to strive away from. But, that can be a hard question to... If you're young, you may not have the experience to know the things you don't want out of life, so you have to get the experience. If you're older, sometimes you just have to make a decision on what you want and change your mind later. It's okay to change your mind. If what you decide you wanted 10 years ago is no longer what you want now, you can change your mind. Maybe it's the circumstances you don't like. Maybe it's the person you become or the life you're living that you don't like anymore. So change it. It's harder to make those changes when you have family, husband or wife, kids. It can be harder to make those changes, but sometimes you have to, right? If the career is not the job you're doing, career, if you're lucky, is not what you want, then you might have to change it. And that can require learning new skills, building up new things. If you're a long-time renter and you decide, well, I do want a house, it's going to take some work. It's going to take a down payment. It's going to take paying off a mortgage, unless you've built up a ton of wealth that you can then sink into a house. It's going to take deciding what size house you want. And not only that, but what's available in an area you want to live, all those decisions. But you have to know what you want. Or at least you have to know what you don't want. Knowing what you don't want is, in a lot of ways, easier, but there's lots of things out there. And it's hard to sample all of them. So you have to be judicious. It definitely helps if you know what you want to strive towards. Some of the ways to deal with that are to remove the things that you sedate yourself with. It could be drugs, it could be alcohol, it could be video games even. Anything you're doing to hide the reality of the situation you're in from yourself. It could be any of those things. If you're young, it's probably video games. Right? And video games are fine, don't get me wrong. I play video games myself, but I don't play them all the time anymore. And I kind of wish I had stopped playing them so much when I was younger. In some ways, you can use those things, anything where you're spending 8 hours of your day on. Like, it's one thing if it's a constructive thing, right? Like, technically, if you're a streamer and you're making tons of money from the video games, then it's not a sedation in that sense. It's a money-making scheme. But for most people, that's not the case. If you're watching this, that's probably not the case, unless you happen to be a big streamer, right? And that can be a goal you want to strive towards, but don't put all your energy into it. If that's what you really want to do, put a lot of your energy into it, but take a little bit of time and work on other skills. It's like that for any of the sedations. If you cut those sedations away, you'll have to face the reality of your situation, what you're hiding from. If there's anything. Maybe there's not. Maybe you're perfectly content and they're not sedations and you live a rich and fulfilling life. But based on most social media, that's not going to be the case for 99% of you. Most people want more of whatever it is. And sometimes I wonder if they even want those things. Right? Do they want it, or do they want it because other people want it for them and they'll never be satisfied with it? It's, rampant consumerism is often hiding deeper issues. And that's one thing to be on the lookout for. It can be helpful to do something like a no-buy month, week even. Spend as little money as possible only on the necessities. Because if you are spending money as a way of dealing with whatever problems in your life, whether you see them or not, then that'll let you know where they are. If you start getting super stressed out when you don't spend money, and that's why you're buying things, and you're like, I have a bunch of crap in my house or apartment, and I just can't seem to stop buying stuff, you can go, okay, well, I'm going to spend money for a week even, and just see, okay, what feelings come up when I want to buy something. Like, what am I doing when that urge to buy something comes up? That can be useful. Same for overeating, drinking. Most sedations, I would expect. A lot of it is your life just doesn't have enough going on in it that actually has meaning to you. You're not spending enough time with friends, family, meeting new people, going out, being around other people. Other people are what give life meaning. They're also what can make life horrible or amazing. Depends on the people. Depends on who you surround yourself with, how you and they act, and that can be difficult. Yeah. But it's, what do you want out of life? Right? What do you want out of this interaction? If you want to have friends, then you'll eventually find them. It'll take a little while, but if you put the effort in, you'll find them. You want to have wealth? Well, you got to put the effort in. Whether that's making your own business, working in a job, right, building the skills to get that wealth, right? It does take effort. You aren't just going to magically find yourself with tons of money. I mean, the potential is there, to be honest. You could win the lottery. You're most likely not going to win the lottery. It's a possibility, but it's not probable. Work on the things you want. Figure out the things you want and work on those. Yeah, sometimes, most of us are, I think these days, prone to overthinking and not acting. Right? There is probably a time where overacting was the common thing. And that happens when you're young, right? If you're young, you're probably prone to impulsive acting. But impulse purchases are like that too, right? You don't think them through. You just buy it and wonder why you hate the thing you bought, or why it's taking up room in your house 6 months later and you have to get rid of it. Cutting those things out can be very helpful. Cutting out garbage food can be helpful. There's lots of things you can do, but it depends what you want. If you want to be fit, you're going to have to cut out garbage food. You have to say, I want to be fit more than I want to eat this thing. If you want to be fit, you have to make the changes necessary. You have to want to be fit more than you want to do the things that are preventing you from being fit. And by that, I mean, you're going to have to change your diet. You're going to have to exercise. You're going to have to probably do some resistance training, weights, walk more, run, swim, eat better. You aren't going to outwork a bad diet, but you're going to have to do those things. You're going to have to say, I want these things more than I want to eat this thing, right? For fitness. If you want more money, you're going to have to say, I want to, in most cases, that means, for a lot of us, it means investing, whether it's in real estate, stocks, bonds, high yield savings account, whatever it is, right? If you want to have more money in some fashion, you're going to have to give up the things that are taking that money. That means luxury items, generally speaking. You're going to have to pare back what you buy at the grocery store, what you buy for entertainment, what you do on Friday nights, right? I'm not saying cut those things out entirely. I'm saying you're going to have to decide how much that $20 is worth to you versus putting it into a savings account, into bonds, into stocks, into real estate, whatever that may be. You have to decide, how much is this worth to me? Do I want to spend it on luxuries, or do I want to spend it on my future? That sort of thing. And there's no guarantees with the stock market either, right? But it depends on what you want. Right? What do you want? That's what you have to ask yourself. I'm reminded of the scene from Avatar: The Last Airbender, where Uncle Iroh is talking to Zuko, and it's, who are you? What do you want? You can't just do what other people want for you. And you have to decide what you want. Do you want the luxury car, or do you want to not have car payments? Do you want to have a luxury car and all the costs that come with it? Or do you want to buy a beater and have a less stylish car, but not have to worry about those things? Same for renting versus owning a house. Same for, do you want to eat out every day versus cooking at home? There's lots of those questions. What do you want out of life, and what are the steps required to get there? So I hope this helps you. I hope this helps you. At the very least, I hope it helps you sit down and find the things you want, as opposed to just kind of ambling through life. So that's all I've got for this week. I will see you next week. Don't forget to like and subscribe.